So we're in the middle of Shrimp-sember, and I'm going to be talking shrimp tank filtration today.
Subscribe to my channel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Bob Moss Nano Tanks. As I said, Shrimp-sember, so we're keeping on theme like usual, the shrimp videos. Before I get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, guys. Channel's growing, it feels great. It really, you know, when I see those numbers go up and like the views going up, it really does, it warms my heart. It really does warm my heart, guys. It makes me happy. I know I'm a small channel, so every view, every subscriber really counts and really makes me happy. Makes me a happy guy. All right, so let's just get into it. Hey, so I was editing the video and I realized that I'm gonna mention sponges a lot. Intake sponges, sponge filters, whatever, sponges. Whenever I'm mentioning sponges, you need to remember the pores per inch. You never want to go below like 25 pores per inch on the sponge. You want a dense sponge so that the baby shrimp don't get sucked into it, right? So you want fine pores. You don't really want to go below 20. 20 even is a bit coarse. You probably want something closer to 30, 40, 45 pores per inch. The finer the better for your shrimps. All right, back to the video. So shrimp tank filtration, the obvious answer here is a sponge filter. This is the size I've been putting in my 10 gallons. It's a bit of overkill. You can definitely go smaller. I just like to have tons and tons of surface area. That's the whole point of these, is surface area. So these bad boys are probably what you want. If you're just starting out, if you're setting up a bunch of tanks, they're really handy. You don't need a lot of outlets. You just need one strong pump and then the air lines. Like I have one pump that when it's turned up to max, it's adjustable. So when it's turned up to max, it can do 7.8 liters per minute, which if I've done the math right, I can filter about 80 gallons of water with the sponge filters with that, which is perfect for a bunch of nano tanks, which is what I'm gonna have, or what I do have. It's what I have. So if you do the quick math there, I guess I should tell you, the math for the air pumps you want for a sponge filter is 1 liter per minute per 10 gallons of water, roughly. I'll flash that on the screen, big text, so you can read it and write it down. That's the rule of thumb I go by for the air pumps for the sponge filter. So you can't really see it on this side, but the sponge filter, I have it hidden behind the wood there. It creates good flow, good suction, good surface area. Same up here, I have it hidden behind the wood. So some people really worry about the look of the sponge filter or it taking up valuable real estate in their tank. But if you hide it behind the wood, you don't even see it from the front. And I mean, real estate wise, it's a useful tool. The baby shrimp are gonna graze on it. Well, all these shrimp are gonna graze on it. It's gonna create a lot of surface area for the biological filtration. They don't get any chemical. You get a little bit of mechanical filtration. That's the one complaint people really have with these, is that they don't do the best mechanical filtration. So I'll just come down here. This is the old 5 gallon that I rescaped. It used to be the main tank in my whole setup. As you can see, there's a lot of snail poop. This is just a snail tank right now. So the one issue with the sponge filters, they don't create the highest flow. So you can get detritus buildup. But people complaining about mechanical filtration, take a look at that and tell me it's not doing mechanical filtration. I wanted to film this today because I'm gonna be cleaning, I'm pulling the sponges out tomorrow and cleaning them. So I wanted to show you just how gunked up and nasty they can get. They do provide half decent mechanical filtration. It's not the best, you know, it's not the same as like a canister or even a hang-on back that create the sweeping flow throughout the tank, but it does create enough flow that it does force the detritus to the back, and at least in the area, it's around the bottom too. Let me see, it's around the bottom too here. So I can at least get my turkey baster in. The detritus is somewhat focused in one area. But yeah, sponge filters. They're number one in my book, and really they're all you need for your shrimp tank. All right, so sponge filters are number one, but the next filter, I quite enjoy these, are hang-on backs. For shrimp tanks, you don't need anything crazy. I just get these AquaClear 20s and I put them on the lowest setting and I hot rod the hell out of them. Go check out that video if you haven't already. I also baffle the outflow, have a video on that, and I put a little intake sponge on the intake. So here you can see the intake sponge. It's doing two things. One, it's providing that surface area for the biological filtration and the mechanical filtration, so you get lots of beneficial bacteria cleaning the tank. But it's also preventing your shrimp from getting sucked up in there. Now, I've ran these, when I first got them, I ran them without the intake sponges because I didn't know any better. And I had a few shrimp find their way up in the filter and actually lived there for a few weeks. It's quite amusing. The shrimp can live in your filter, and it's funny. That's, oh my god, that's all I could say. It's funny. But there's also an impeller in there, so you gotta be careful that they're not gonna get like sucked up and chopped up by the impeller. That's not something you want to happen to any livestock. So pre-filter sponges, outflow baffles, and I would remove the activated carbon if you're gonna run a hang-on back. Now, a lot of people don't recommend these because of the higher flow rate, but that's why I just turn them down, and then they create just enough flow. I don't know if you can see it in the tank. You can kind of see it with the particles over here. That one might be a good bearing, but it's sweeping. It's not, there's no stagnant water anywhere in this tank. It's constantly flowing. There's no real dead spots except for like under and inside bob, obviously, which is what I like. They're from river areas, so it's good to have, in my opinion, it's good to have a bit of flow going. But as I said, you are fine with just a sponge filter. It's just something I like to do. But obviously I'm borderline over filtering the tanks, and I need more plugs for these, and I don't know. I probably won't be doing many more of the hang-on backs. I'll probably just stick to the sponges, but since I have them and I had the biomedia for them, I decided to run them, because why not? I hope this all makes sense, man. I feel like I'm rambling because I don't write scripts. So the last filter you can run is obviously a canister filter or a sump. I only recommend these if you have a massive tank, like if you have like a 75 gallon, maybe a community tank, then you're gonna be putting the canister filter on there, obviously. For just a shrimp tank though, definitely overkill. If you're doing a 75 gallon like shrimp breeder tank, you can avoid the canister and just get multiple sponges. Just get a bunch of sponges and load them in there. Maybe even a Matten filter. Oh, that's one I didn't mention is the Matten filter, but that in my opinion falls under the sponge filter category. It's just a different type of sponge filter. So if you do decide to run a canister filter on one of those larger tanks or the sump, make sure you have the sponge on the intake, just like the hang-on backs. I mean, your shrimp, like I said before, they'll actually live out their life in there and for the most part be fine. The sump is a little safer than the canister filter for them. The canister filter is just a little bit more hectic of an environment, in my opinion. You're gonna want that pre-filter sponge, maybe a sponge on the outflow or something on the outflow just to stop the crazy ones from swimming up the outflow of your canister. But overall, it's not one that I recommend for a shrimp only tank, at least. It's just, it's a bit overkill, even if you do have that really, really large tank. So yeah, that's my opinion on shrimp tank filtration. I hope I didn't ramble too much. In summary, the sponge filter is all you really need. Even if you have a really large tank, just load it with multiple sponge filters. It's the cheapest option, just need one air pump for the multiple sponges. Second, I like the hang-on backs, mainly just for the flow. They create a nice river effect in your tank, in my opinion. The canister filters and the sumps, they're a bit overkill, and obviously I forgot to specifically mention the Matten filter, which in my opinion is just an upgraded sponge filter. I don't really like the Matten filters, just a little caveat at the end here. I don't really like the idea of them because they take up a whole chunk of your tank. So I mean, unless you do have that, if you have like a 75 gallon breeder, maybe the Matten is the thing for you rather than like 10 sponge filters. You just put one Matten filter in there, but they take up a whole chunk and then your substrate comes up to it. So if you ever take it out to clean, your substrate kind of falls in there. So yeah, you got to figure that out. There's corner Matten filters. Oh, I don't know. They're not really my favorite thing. I prefer just the regular sponges. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for making it to the end. If you made it this far, what should my secret comment be? If you made it this far, leave a comment below saying sponge filters are the best, and I'll know that you're a part of the end of the video club or whatever you want to call it. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, keep your shrimp hand strong. Till next time. The end. So because it's Shrimp-sember, I'm gonna be talking filtration. No, am I even on camera? I should check that. I'm on camera when I do this. Before I get into it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, guys. Let's get me to... So this is these bad boys, which I've done, if I've done the math right, I can filter like 80 gallons of water with that. So if you do the, let's just come over here. So some people really worry about the, I just need it up a little bit. How do I get it up a little bit? Not a big bit, just a little bit. So here you can see the intakes. Oh, let me do this first so you don't hear all the rattling. So here you can see the intake sponge. This, once again, it provides surface area. It also, well, and the last filter you can run is obviously a canister filter. Oop. And the last filter you can run, oh, fuck off. Fucking shit. There we go. So the last filter you can run, oh, is that it? Oh, I'm gonna need to retake some of this. Ah! Second, I like the hang-on backs for the flow and the... If you made it this far, leave a comment below saying Matten filters collect poo-poo, and I'll